I'm back, mainly because I couldn't find any content. Also, yeah, um, I'm gonna try to stop taking breaks, but the news is dead. I mean, really dead. So I just decided to go talk about the only things I actually could. I could talk about Biden's guns thing, or I could talk about the Georgia bill. Those are basically all it is, except for the occasional. Nah, no. So, oh god. Okay, I'm not covering that story. Anyways, I'm gonna talk about the Georgia stuff. And well, we have a familiar person, otherwise known as Stacey Abrams, the governor of Georgia. And the fake governor of Georgia, Kemp, signed Senate Bill 202 into law. Now, if you don't know what SB 202 is, I envy you. How? I mean, well, I guess you could not look at politics. Well, that's dumb. Senate Bill 202 is, well, it's the Georgia voting laws one, and it's already got three lawsuits. Or at least three mainstream lawsuits. One from, the NAACP. Shoot. The NAACP. The NAACP. Yes. Stacey Abrams group and the Asian American something. And another familiar organization, the Brennan Center for Justice, which is actually, if you trace it back, a lot of these very controversial things in the well, modern times. I say that like what this year and late last year actually can be linked back to them, which is very fun. I haven't done a dedicated video on why they're dishonest, but I probably should. So, let's do this. Okay, so the controversy is basically how it used to work is you do all your normal voting things and then sign it. Then the voting board thing does a little signature signature match, and well, that process is lengthy and can be ineffective. Why? Signatures change, and if you get your signature, if they detect no, it's not the same, well, your vote's rejected. And because of this, 2011 absentee ballots were rejected. Now, this could be because they were actual fraud, or the issue I just described. I'm going to guess it's a mix of both. But if you were a voter and you got your ballot rejected, you'd probably be pretty mad. Let's say you voted for a person and they lost by what 500 votes, or you voted for another candidate and they lost for what 100 votes. Yeah, you'd be kind of frustrated. By the way, those were both based off of real elections in Georgia. Or how about this? The race for wait, actually, oh shoot, I need to go. No. So the 101 was U.S. House District number 22, and the first one I mentioned was from Georgia. Okay, and this one is from Iowa District number 2, and the candidate won by 6 votes. Yeah. Would you bet your life that well that if your candidates lost by 6 votes and you had signature match and your ballot got overridden, Don't you think you could have made a difference and, your candidate could have possibly won? So, because of that, Georgia is now requiring when you file for an absentee ballot, you have to put a valid Georgia driver's license or ID number. Or this is optional, but you either okay you either have to write, if you don't have any of those or you don't submit any of those, you have to write down your entire social security number, but you have to write down the last four digits no matter what. Now, if you don't have any of those, you need to either provide a valid U.S. passport, military ID, or tribal ID. Or you could include a copy of a utility bill, bank statement, or things like that. You can also include any government document or, majority, like a we're going to seize your property kind of. Yeah, that I'm pretty sure that would be valid. But if you don't have a driver's license, social security card, you need to provide your U.S. passport, military ID, tribal citizenship, gas bill or utility bill, um, paycheck from the U.S. government, or wait, no, check from the U.S. government, paycheck from employer, or any governmental bill or letter, I guess. Um, you need to provide a copy of you applying for one if you don't have like your photo ID type thing. And if you get one on the first try, you also need to provide your you need to provide one of them once you submit it. And what are you going to do with your gas bill anyway? I mean, yes, it's voting time, and I don't have a well, I don't really have my ID. I lost it. Things happen. It doesn't really matter. So, knowing this, you might want to say save your gas bill or electricity bill or anything, or your stimulus check. Is it a hassle? Yeah, probably. But is it stopping anyone from voting? No. If okay, if you don't have one of those, you you seriously are you have to be actively trying to not have one of those. I don't know how. But from our experience, most likely, most people have a state ID. Or voter, or no, not, or a voter ID, since they're free in Georgia, if you didn't know that. Um, or, um, what's gonna call it? Or have a driver's license. But maybe someone lost their ID because sure, who keeps an ID? Anyways, or they got their license revoked. I mean, stuff happens. But according to Senator for Georgia Larry Walker, the number of people who don't have an ID, um, is very low, around 3%. So yeah, but there's this little special thing of why that's so high, because when you apply for a driver's license at the DMV, guess what? You automatically get enrolled for voter registration, meaning you're a registered voter if you get a ID. Also, did you know you have to vote for multiple consecutive elections? Um, Not return a letter from the U.S. government, actually from Georgia. Um, for you to be kicked off the voter IDs. Did you also know that? Yeah. Very interesting. But just remember, you can still vote by mail if you fill in your social security card. Most people have a social security card. Most voting age Americans, at least. Most voting Americans. So let's get into the NAACP. Yes, first time. Here's a line from paragraph 59. I don't even know. 59. It's labeled 59. I don't even remember. I'm not counting. The new absentee ballot requirement mandates that voters include a Georgia driver's license or Georgia state ID number on their absentee ballot application. Well, you could also include a social security card. Very dishonest. But let's continue with the paragraph. Maybe they mention it later. If they have neither, voter ID voters if they have neither, voters are required to copy a form of an acceptable voter ID and attach the copies of the ID documents along with the identifying information to both their absentee ballot applications and inside the absentee ballot envelope when returning the voted ballot, thereby opening thereby opening up absentee ballot applications to potential fraud or identity theft. Still haven't mentioned social security cards. I'm thinking they're either ignorant or purposely left out that detail to suit their point of voter suppression. But it's not the NAACP that's doing this. Yes, let's go. Um, it's now time to move on to Stacey Abrams' organization. And Stacey Abrams' complaint. They write first, the General Assembly enacted a requirement that voters requesting an absentee ballot submit with their application their driver's license number, their personal identification number on a state issued personal identification card or photocopy of other specified forms of identification. No mention of social security, but okay, maybe I should just read more. There's never a such thing as reading too much. That's probably a lie. I could think of several books that would pass that would question that. But anyways, this provision will disproportionately affect voters who are elderly, indigent, or from a minority community. According to one national study, remember when I talked about Brennan Center for Justice? Yeah. Um, as many as 25% of black voters do not possess current or valid do not possess a current and valid form of government issued photo identification compared to white voters. Ugh. Social security card. Sorry. Try again next time. Yeah. But for absolute clarity, I'm going to read you the law because clarity is, definitely something that I cannot have. Because who would want that? If the elector does not have a Georgia driver's license or state identification card issued issued pursuant to Article 5 of Chapter 5, Title 40, the elector shall so affirm in the space provided on the outer oath envelope and print the last four digits of his or her social security number in the space provided on the outer oath of the oath, right? I said that right. I can read. Oath of the envelope. If the elector does not have a Georgia driver's license, and then it continues. I've already talked about all this, but I just want to be extremely clear. If you don't understand this legal mumbo jumbo, basically you check a box and you then do the old social security bit flip and turn in your vote. I'm very good at words. But investigating the earlier claim, the dubious claim, that I think I used that word correct. Anyways, I'll stop second guessing, or at least being recorded. According to one national study, as many as 25% of black voters do not possess a valid current form of government government issued photo ID compared to 11% of voters of all races. Yay! You remember that? I do. And this national study is actually not a study, it's a survey. And it's hardly national. I mean, sure, I guess you could consider it national because it was done over the phone, but it surveyed 1,000 people. Yeah. Another thing that's a massive, massive, massive flaw is it was conducted in 2006. Yeah. In a summary, thank you for making my job easy. The survey also showed that millions of American citizens, do not have government-issued photo identification such as driver's license or passports. Yeah, that's an interesting question or statement to make. Considering, here's a question: do you have a current, unexpired government ID issued with your picture, like a driver's license or military ID? Yeah. Mm. And somehow from that question, um, they deduce that African American cities generally lack a photo identification. Not that it's expired, but they lack it, as in they have never received one. Hmm. Yeah, that's concerning. Unfortunately, they won't show me their math of how they came to this conclusion. Therefore, I'm going to guess they put it through a number randomizer. Also, according to the Brennan Center of Justice, I did not see a demographic breakdown. Like, let's say if someone actually had was legitimately registered to vote. Yeah. Or age, or race, or anything. So, yeah, either they just were lazy and didn't publish their work, or they didn't really do much work. But they do state that the results of this survey was, you know, weighted on a factor of race. Anyways, the third lawsuit is from Asian Americans Advancing Justice, the AAAJ. The AAAJ. Right? Yes. I wonder if they'll mention, social security numbers. Okay. Oh, wow. Let's read a paragraph. Under subsection, burdensome identification requirements. Senate Bill 202 also imposes burdensome voter identification requirements, specifically Section 25 of Senate Bill 202 newly requires that the voter provide Georgia's driver's license or state identification card number, in addition to the voter's registration address and date of birth. Senate Bill 202 further demands that the voter who does not have a Georgia driver's license or state government paycheck, or other government document containing the name or address of the voter. Um, yeah, so that's the entire thing. Ugh. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. We're over 30. But in summary, they skipped over the entire social security portion of it. End video. Bye. By the way, hey, Stacey Olsen. Stacey Abrams. Oh my, I can speak. Jesus Christ. Who even is Stacey Olsen? The hell? I don't know. I probably have like all the mental disabilities. I don't know. End of video. Bye.